Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Shit! Run!
Hey guys, urgent update from Yellowstone National Park. And wow guys, Yellowstone did show us today what it is capable of. And thanks to you guys, I was reading comments and someone pointed this out to me. So I thought, hey, I have to make this video quickly because the visitors that were there when it happened, they describe it as a war zone.
People could die. Let me go first so I can make this stuff stable. Walk right where I'm walking.
So what has really happened there at Yellowstone just a few hours ago? So it was a violent thermal pool eruption that did explode, and it really, the boardwalk, the wood boardwalk that is there did also explode, and this violent hydrothermal explosion did spew out mud and rocks at high speed, creating this massive black ash cloud. And I'll show you a video of this.
Shit! Run!
So it was absolutely crazy, and it reminds me of how things looked at White Island in New Zealand. You maybe know of that disaster there when they were putting tourists on that island, and then there was this explosion killing, burning people. So Black Diamond Pool in Yellowstone, that's what the area is called, in the Yellowstone National Park, violently erupted on Tuesday today, and it did send dozens of tourists running for their lives as the boardwalk that they were standing on, it's like a wood deck, you have to imagine, exploded. And you see the picture behind me from the park board. It was like the pressure from underneath, so it was exploding upwards, and it's like in a sci-fi movie. They were running and the planks were flying behind them. So with that, the eruption did spew out like black water, mud, rocks. So initially, what we know from right now, no injuries were reported, but that video that I'm about to show you looks really scary and massive. The visitors were really scrambling to escape this powerful explosion. And when did this happen? So Black Diamond Pool is in a basin in the park that's called Biscuit Basin, and all that happened today, local time 9:45 a.m. When that happened, there was a radio message from the National Park Service that reported a large explosion with lots of debris, but no injuries. Of course, Biscuit Basin was closed after this eruption. And there is a report of people that were actually there. So let's have a look at this video a little bit when you see how it happens here and how massively it starts blowing out. And if you look at the video with a close eye, you can really see these rocks flying out of there, rocks that look like they've been heated up a lot, that they come from very deep. Could be that it's several hundred feet depth, so they look very hot. There's a specific form that rocks can have that tells you how hot it was. So this is not something superficial that was just happening at the surface. There was hot stuff from below coming out. So there was a family that was visiting Yellowstone National Park from California. They were touring the Biscuit Basin when that Black Diamond Pool violently exploded. So they were on the boardwalk with their two sons, and they also had a guide with them, a tour guide. So they had a video camera running at the time when it happened, and they were the ones that captured this spectacular video, and they kept filming even while they retreated to a safe distance. And then you see other visitors are also seen like fleeing that violent thermal spew that has happened there. So they said later when they were interviewed by newspapers that the only indication that they felt or saw that something was brewing under Biscuit Basin was a large amount of steam that came out from Sapphire Pool. But you know, the steam, how they call it in Italy at Campi Flegrei, if you're watching my channel more often, the fumaroles, these hot steam vents at Yellowstone. Here behind me, this is in Yellowstone. That's what you kind of expect if you go to that park, because that's what people want to see, the bubbling mud and the fumaroles and the steam. So is that an indication that it might explode, right? I mean, only if you go there like every day, maybe the guide should have noticed that there is a difference, right? Because if you don't go there every day, you don't know how this area looks normally, right? So if you're a guide and you all of a sudden see that there's a hot steam vent coming out, you might think, wait a minute, right? So, but obviously the guide wasn't aware of this, so we don't know how experienced that guide was, just a summer job, or was it really like a trained park member or something. I don't know, I can't tell you that. Of course, if I learn more about it, I'll tell you that as well. So what they're saying is we were walking towards Jewel Geyser. So that's a geyser there where you expect that something is being spit out. Not like that. What happened here then? When their tour guide pointed out the steam that suddenly shot out of Sapphire Pool. And the tourists are saying, well, we guess that has never been witnessed before. And then they say literally, a moment later, there was this massive explosion and massive amount of rock that was being like thrown out at high speed from Black Diamond Pool. And the visitors described this eruption of Black Diamond Pool. They say it looked like a mushroom cloud. So really, really massive. And as you see here in the video, I show you another part of the clip, right? I mean, that looks really scary. I have to say, it reminds me of White Island. White Island was bigger, but still, the steam vent that comes up there is scary when you're there. And it did launch, this black water and this hard debris, these rocks, did launch into the air hundreds of feet. So it was quite high. And then the problem is with these kinds of explosions, the material that is being spit out is at very high speed, so that it's hard to outrun these particles, so that you have to be so careful that you're not hit by this. So thankfully, it seems the people are okay. So the tourists are describing it that Biscuit Basin was suddenly filled with cries of fear and panic as people on the boardwalk, on this wood plank boardwalk, started running along the narrow span away from that explosion.
Let me go first so I can make this stuff stable. Walk right where I'm walking. I'm going to say everybody wants to move out of here really quickly because we don't know how safe this is. This could be really, really dangerous. Feel free to grab my hand. Feel free to grab my hand. Hey, Nate! But just keep moving. Unless there's big holes. Follow that guy in the St. Louis City here.
And guys, this tells us, right, volcanoes as a tourist attraction is always a risky game, right? I don't know. I guess something can happen everywhere. You can be hit by a car or something. It's just, of course, I mean, Yellowstone, it's amazing. It's an amazing area. So, but yeah, maybe, I don't know if in the near future, if I go there, if I would walk on these boardwalks and get so close.
But just keep moving.
Probably
Unless
not.
There's big holes.
You can see it on videos and it looks beautiful. Better safe than sorry. That's just my experience. As of lately, the volcanoes are acting up too much, so that I'm not really interested to be the tourist watching them from a too close distance. So the tourists are saying when they saw this explosion happening, the tour guide, of course, told them to run.
Jesus. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Max, keep going, keep going. Oh shit. Holy shit.
So they said we grabbed our kids, we made our way to solid grounds as soon as we could, like away from that boardwalk. And they said then we realized that we weren't sure about my mother-in-law's status, where she was, because you also don't see probably that much anymore with that black smoke and water spitting out.
We are getting out of here.
They were worried about the mother-in-law. They said she's not very mobile and she could have been hit by one of those rocks. That makes sense. If someone tells you to run, everyone starts to run in panic. And if there's elderly people, it's hard for them, especially on these wood boardwalks, right? You could be stuck on one plank and stumble. But thankfully, they were quickly able to reunite with the mother-in-law. She was unhurt, but she was covered from head to toe in mud and silt that was ejected from Black Diamond Pool. And this eruption, it was very, very quickly. So it didn't last long. It was over after a few seconds, right? It spits it out and then it's over. But they describe it, the aftermath resembled like a war zone. That's what they're saying. And they said the Black Diamond Pool looked like a muddy crater surrounded by black mud and chunks of rock. Well, yeah, makes sense. So the tourists said the explosion was so intense that it has destroyed these sections of the Biscuit Basin boardwalk, and they're saying you could see pieces of wood sticking out. They said everything was covered in dirt, silt, and rock, some wood from the boardwalk sticking out. And good thing is Yellowstone Rangers did arrive within 5 minutes of the incident, and then they closed off the area. And also these tourists that we just talked about, they also were giving like their statement to the rangers before they left the area. So they said it was a unique experience. So this is not uncommon for Yellowstone that something like this might happen, but it was a close call for the tourists this time. So Black Diamond Pool has been infrequently, and that's why infrequently, not like say once a month, every 3 weeks, has been erupting since an earthquake happened in the area in 2006. So it seems that's when this was formed, that it's more active. But they said it was inactive since 2016. And then the pool has erupted all over a sudden twice in 2024. And the last eruption was on May 7th. So maybe they learn from that. Maybe they keep it closed off so that people do not get that close, because now it's been erupting twice in basically 2 months. Who knows what it's going to do next? The Black Diamond Pool was formed after another large hydrothermal explosion in the Biscuit Basin. So these explosions are happening there. And usually it appears, this Black Diamond Pool, black, yeah, that the name says that. It appears full of murky blue water that overflows into several surrounding pools. And the pool is very, very hot. It has an average temperature of 148.5 degrees, has an average pH value of 8.2, which is in basically the same basic acidic range as seawater. Also, the USGS has released a statement. So they're saying around 10 a.m. today, a small hydrothermal explosion occurred in the Biscuit Basin thermal area around 2.1 miles, that's 3.5 kilometers northwest of Old Faithful, of that area. They say Biscuit Basin, including the parking lot and boardwalks, are temporarily closed for visitor safety. The Grand Loop remains open. Yellowstone Park geologists are investigating the event. So these hydrothermal explosions, like the one we've just witnessed here, they occur when water suddenly flashes to steam that's underground, and then they mix and they cause the explosion. They are relatively common in Yellowstone. For example, in 1989, the Pork Chop Geyser in Norris Geyser Basin also had an explosion like this. And then the Norris Geyser Basin had again a small event in April this year. So overall, the USGS says the monitoring data show no changes in the Yellowstone region. So you don't have to be afraid that whole Yellowstone might erupt right now and that there is a big threat or something like this. That's not the case. They're saying today's explosion does not reflect activity within the volcanic system of Yellowstone overall. The Yellowstone system remains at normal background levels of activity. And they're saying the hydrothermal explosions like that are not a sign of impending volcanic eruptions, and they are not caused by magma rising towards the surface. That is important, because if we had the suspicion that magma would rise to the surface like we do at the other potential supervolcano at Campi Flegrei in Italy, that would be a whole different game changer. Although there are reports that Yellowstone seems to be a little bit more active, but the USGS says there is nothing to worry right now. So yeah, guys, quick update about Yellowstone. I hope you liked it, and if you did, I hope you leave this video a like. That helps out my channel. And guys, thank you so much for the coffees you keep buying me on my Buy Me a Coffee website. If you're interested in that, to support my channel and my farm, that's what I use the coffees for. The link is down in the description, and I want to show you Rudy in the background. And of course, thank you so much for the supers you keep buying me here on YouTube. You guys are absolutely awesome. Thanks for all the comments. Because of you, I was notified very quickly about what is going on in Yellowstone. So thanks for that, guys. I love the communication that we have. And I hope you're having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, guys. Stay safe, and I'll see you very soon. If you're bored in the meantime, check out my videos in the end screen. I just released a very interesting one about what Etna's doing in Italy again. Had another violent, impressive eruption that still keeps going. Check out that video here in the end screen, and lots of other stuff, guys. Sinkhole Alley in Florida, absolutely crazy. I wasn't aware that it's that bad. Check out the video here. I see you very soon, guys. Bye bye.